بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
ألف لام ميم تنزيل الكتاب لا ريب فيه من رب العالمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Yesterday we finished off with the ayah where Allah talked about the fact that He perfected everything in the creation, okay? And then He, after mentioning the creation in general, Allah mentioned specifically the creation of insan, okay? And that He created insan min teen, out of clay. And then the details of the creation of insan continues. So this is where we will begin today, inshallah. I have written out the words again, just for us to save time. So Allah said here, thumma, then, okay, so the next stage. So there was the creation, min teen, of the clay of Adam alayhi salam. Then Allah said, thumma ja'ala, then He made, okay, Allah made, naslahu. Nasl is progeny, okay, progeny, the future generations, okay. Nasl literally means to be separated, okay, and each generation is separated from another generation. So his descendants, okay, the Bani Adam, and this is us, okay, we are the Bani Adam. ثُمَّ جَعَلَ نَسْلَهُ, then He made his progeny, his offspring, his descendants. From what? Allah said, min, okay, from sulalatin. Sulala is something that is extracted, okay, or something that flows. Usually, when something is extracted from something else, it is the pure liquid that flows from it, okay, when it is extracted. This extract, or what is being talked about here, is the semen, okay, the sperm that comes from the man. Allah said, min sulalatin min ma'in, from a liquid or a water, okay, but more, a liquid is more correct. A liquid that is maheen. Maheen is something that is weak, insignificant, okay, it is delicate, and this is referring to the sperm drop, okay. It is also small in its quantity, okay, it is a small amount. Subhanallah, so we know that within the female, the egg is there, okay, and the egg is ready to be fertilized, but the sperm is needed in order to fertilize the egg. And within that sperm droplet are the details, the essence of the human being, which is then passed on to the children, just like there is within the egg, okay, there is some of the details of the creation of the human being. So Allah clarifies the creation of Adam alayhi salam in the previous ayah, that he was created from clay, and then the Bani Adam, okay, the children of Adam alayhi salam. So Allah began with the mighty creation, okay, He began with the heavens and the earth, subhanallah. And in 6 days, this is talking about all of the everything that is in existence on the earth that we need for us to be able to exist well on the earth, okay. But then Allah made it more specific to us by talking about the creation of our own selves, okay, things that we can relate to, yeah, ourselves, our children, the heavens and the earth and the throne, okay, the arsh, these are on a much grander scale, okay, but we are being told about what we can relate to now, something that is close to us, something that is easier for us to reflect upon. Then we see in the next ayah, it continues, okay, so not only did Allah create Bani Adam, but what did He give them? So He tells us, thumma, okay, so then the next stage, okay, thumma sawwahu. So now, okay, we saw the creation of Adam alayhi salam, then we saw how the Bani Adam is created, and now if we split this ayah into two, okay, we see that Allah returns to talking about Adam alayhi salam, okay, this part is referring to Adam alayhi salam, And the second part, okay, from here onwards till the end, is referring to the Bani Adam. Okay, so this is us, the creation that came after Adam alayhi salam. So Allah said, ثُمَّ سَوَّاهُ, then he shaped him. Sawwa means to balance, to equal out, to proportion. So he shaped him, he proportioned him, he balanced him out. Okay, so we know the creation of man is subhanallah, in perfect balance. You don't have one arm longer than the other arm. Okay, your arms are the same length. Your legs are the same length, which enables you to be able to walk. Okay, when one leg is shorter than another, this is a disability. Generally, the human being is balanced and proportioned in his size, in his shape. And this is how Allah created Adam alayhi salam, and then we followed. وَنَفَخَ, and he blew. Okay, Allah blew. Fihi, in him, or into him. Into who? Into Adam alayhi salam. Okay, min ruhihi. So from his ruh, from his, so Allah blew into Adam alayhi salam his soul. Okay, he blew into Adam alayhi salam the soul of Adam alayhi salam. Allah connects ruh to himself here in giving honor to it. Okay, like Allah says, he calls the Kaaba in the Quran, he calls it Bayti, للطائفين والعاكفين والركع السجود. Okay, Bayti, my house. Doesn't mean that Allah resides in the house, we know that. But he attaches the house to himself to give honor to it. In the same way, this is not the ruh of Allah. No, it is the ruh that Allah breathed into Adam alayhi salam, but he is attaching it to himself in order to give honor to Adam alayhi salam. Layla, I saw your hand up. I know it went down. I was thinking
Assalamu
it had to
alaikum.
do with what I clarified.
Yeah, you answered my question. So just to clarify, because I was thinking this, had it meant that A'udhu Billah, his in the sense Allah's, then it's almost as if it's attributing Allah
Yes.
himself to Adam, but we know that Allah is free from that. So you've explained in the sense that it's just in terms of honoring
Yes.
Adam. Okay, Jazakallahu khairan.
And Sheikh Uthaymeen mentioned this in his tafsir. He said, if you take it in the other way, then this is the wrong interpretation of it, and then you are attaching something to Allah or ascribing something to Allah, which is what we don't do. This is not how it is understood in the tafsir by the Sahaba and those who came after them. Okay, radiyallahu anhum. So, ثُمَّ سَوَّاهُ وَنَفَخَ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِهِ. So he shaped him, proportioned him, and then he blew into him his ruh, okay, his soul. So he fashioned, he balanced, he shaped, meaning with his flesh, with his bones, with the veins, with the muscles, with the tendons, all of these things that we have in our body, okay? He created him well and placed every faculty, okay, and body part in the best and most appropriate place, okay? Everything is where it should be, where it can work and function the best from. And no place would be better than the place that Allah placed it in, okay? Musa alayhi salam, when he was arguing or having a discussion with Adam alayhi salam, he said to Adam alayhi salam, and this is narrated by the Prophet sallam, you are the one who Allah taught you the names of everything. And he sent to you his angels, and he breathed into you the ruh, okay, meaning the soul. Yeah, but this is not the soul. This is here the soul is attached to Allah to give honor, okay, in order to honor Adam alayhi salam, and also in order to honor human beings in general, okay. We have another example in the Quran where Allah said naqatullahi, okay, the she camel of Allah, meaning that by attaching it to Allah, it gave this she camel in the story of Salih alayhi salam, giving it honor, okay, giving it a position above other she camels. So when Allah breathed into him of his ruh, okay, meaning he made him alive and feeling, okay, having senses. When you look at the what the word that Shaykh Uthaymeen used to describe it is like he gave him his senses, okay, being able to feel, touch, see, hear, all of these things. Okay, so he created him in this way. After he had been inanimate, okay, Adam alayhi salam was left as a shell, a clay shell, for a long time before the soul was blown into him and he became alive in this way. Okay, so he went from being inanimate to being alive. Yeah. Yeah, so it is honoring Adam alayhi salam's soul, but also human beings in general. Okay, to answer that question, Jazakallah khair. The question was, is it honoring Adam's soul? Yes, both. Okay, Adam alayhi salam, and then these human beings in general, the human race. Okay. Then Allah says, وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ. So now remember, it's returning back to the creation of the Bani Adam, the children of Adam. وَجَعَلَ, and he made, لَكُمْ, for you, and it's for you all. Okay, this kum is plural, for you all. As-sam'a. Sam'a is from sami'a yasma'u, to hear. Sam'a is hearing. He made for you hearing. Wal-abasara, and the vision, okay, eyes, the ability to see. Wal-af'ida, and the hearts. So Allah gave you hearing, He gave you seeing, and He gave you hearts. Shaykh As-Sa'di, he said, He has given you hearing with which you hear sounds, and sight with which you see people, and hearts with which you distinguish between the good and the evil. Okay, this is what Shaykh As-Sa'di said about this. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he said, okay, sama here is referring to hearing, but he said it is also referring to speech. So Allah gave us the ability to speak, okay, bayan, gave us the ability to speak. And they are linked, and we know that, okay, because generally when people are mute, they have a deficiency or a disability with the hearing, okay, this is something, it is linked. So Allah mentioned the two paths to understanding. And this is, I really love this. Shaykh Uthaymeen mentioned this in his tafsir. These two are the paths to understanding, okay, hearing and seeing. And the place of understanding is the heart, okay? The place of understanding and awareness is the heart. And for this reason, okay, this is why the hearing and the seeing, they are like two channels, okay, that flow into the heart. So the heart receives what it hears, yeah, or what the person hears, and what the person sees. Yeah, it flows straight into the heart, which is the place of understanding and awareness. And this is what should make us very aware of what we hear and what we see, because it flows directly to the heart. It's either going to bring it good and make it better, or it's going to make it sick and make it worse. Yes, Layla, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, just do you mind just repeating the last bit? So regarding the hearing and the seeing of being the places of what? I'm not sure if
Yeah,
I
so the
understood
hearing
that.
and the seeing, the sama and the abasar, these are the paths of understanding.
Oh,
And the place of understanding is the fu'ad, is the heart. Okay, af'ida is the plural of fu'ad. So the place of understanding and awareness is the heart. Okay, which is why they are like two channels that flow into the heart. It receives what it hears and what it sees, or what the person hears and what the person sees. And then it flows into the heart, the place of understanding and awareness. Why did Allah not mention smell and taste and touch? Shaykh Uthaymeen said, because learning about, when you learn, generally when you are learning, and specifically about the ayat of Allah, is through hearing and through sight. Okay, when you ponder upon the creation of Allah, it is generally hearing and sight. Okay, Layla's question is, why is af'ida plural? Okay, if I show you something here, this is plural. Af'ida is plural because Allah is talking to you all. Okay, so He made for you your hearts. Wal abasar, this is also plural. Okay, the only one that is not plural or doesn't seem to be plural is sama. And you'll see this in the Quran a lot. Okay, sama wal abasar. And Shaykh Uthaymeen, he mentioned this. He said the word as-sama is a verbal noun, meaning hearing, okay? And it doesn't come in the plural. It only comes in this way. So even if it means plural, even if it is, you know, it's matching absar and al-af'ida, it doesn't change in any way. There is no dual and there is no plural. Usually for a noun in Arabic, you will have dual and you will have plural. But for some, there isn't. Okay, there is just the word as-sam. Is that okay, yeah? Yes, although I didn't mention the other senses, just these. So we realize from these ayat, from these, what Allah has mentioned that He has given us, is the greatness and the power and the planning of Allah. Then Allah said here, قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. Qaleel means a little. Ma here is just there for emphasis. There are sometimes extra letters that intensify the meaning. Yeah, so indeed, only a few, a little or a few, tashkurun, of you are grateful. You are grateful. Tashkurun. A few are grateful. Yeah, subhanallah. So Shaykh Uthaymeen mentioned both meanings here. He said either it is that only a few in number are grateful, or you generally, Bani Adam, you give very little thanks. Yeah, so either it's the number, let's say 1 in 10, okay? The number, yeah, so the quantity of you, how many of you give thanks, and or it is, and we can take both meanings, that you just give very little thanks. Okay, the amount of gratitude that we give is little. So, meaning with these blessings that Allah has bestowed on us from the beginning of the creation, okay, in the development in the womb, to the point where the child or the infant exits, okay, with hearing and with sight and with feelings and the ability to understand. With these great blessings, okay, we don't show enough gratitude for these things. If we want to be from those who do show gratitude, okay, if we want to be from those few who do show gratitude, okay, how do we do that? First of all, you feel that gratitude in the heart, okay, and it is uttered on the tongue. Yeah, you mention the blessings of Allah on your tongue rather than complaining. This is the opposite, okay? And it is shown on the limbs. When we are blessed with something, or when we have hearing and we have seeing and we have the ability to understand, okay, we do good with what Allah has given us. Shaykh As-Sa'di said, you use what you have to obey and to worship Allah. Yeah, subhanallah. So we use what it is that Allah has given us in order to obey Him, in order to worship Him. And we use the hearing only to hear what Allah is pleased with. We use our seeing only to see what Allah is pleased with. We use our hearts. Subhanallah, in one of the benefits, I will mention it now because it's appropriate. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he said, the hearing is used for what brings one closer to Allah and refrains from hearing what Allah has forbidden. As for the heart, it must turn away from everything that Allah has forbidden and accept with the heart everything that Allah has commanded. And subhanallah, so this is how we show gratitude. And this is very much, gratitude is very closely linked to Iman. Because if those of you who have been in the classes, you know that Iman is something that is believed in the heart and manifested through the tongue and the limbs. So the Iman and the gratitude are very closely linked. And that's why even in the language, the opposite of gratitude is kufr, okay? Which is what we use for disbelief, the opposite of Iman. Subhanallah. Something that was not mentioned in the tafsir, I want to specify that, okay? It's not mentioned in any of the tafsir that I checked, and I checked a lot. But it is something that I had heard once, so I wanted to mention it. But Allahu A'lam, if it is it is based on a tafsir or not. Okay, so I wanted to clarify that. But Allah mentions hearing before seeing in many parts of the Quran. Okay, yeah, I will mention the benefits again, don't worry. Allah mentions hearing before seeing. And what is known from science now is that hearing, for the fetus, hearing is developed before seeing. The child and the fetus can hear before it can see, okay? It can hear the voice of the mother and the heartbeat and things well before it can see. In the womb, the eyes are sealed shut for a lot of the pregnancy, okay? And then they are, the seal is taken off and they can see. But even when they are born, they can only see specific colors, but they can pay attention to hearing, subhanallah, that is there. So this is one of the things that was mentioned, but again, not in the tafsir. Yes, Layla.
Just want to add to that, subhanAllah, because I've read something similar again in a book, so I don't know where it's fully sourced from. But in Surah Kahf, where we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he put them to sleep, and then he says first he covered their ears, and then he covered the ears is covered first, and it's to do with the fact that when you're asleep, what wakes you up more likely is like a loud sound, for example, as opposed to if your eyes are closed anyway, but it's your hearing that will be affected. So subhanAllah, I thought I'd just share that too.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you. So just to go through the benefits of these two ayat that we've just done, okay? The first is that it refutes, these two, they refute the theory of Darwinism, okay? The theory of evolution. Allah said that he created Adam alayhi salam min teen, and then he shaped him, he fashioned him, okay? So this is refuting that theory. Nothing is truer than the ayat that we see from Allah, that he created Adam alayhi salam from clay, and then he shaped him, he fashioned him, he blew the soul into him, okay? The second benefit is Allah's amazing ability. The fact that we are given such amazing ability to understand and to see and to hear, and Allah created that. Imagine the ability of Allah, subhanAllah, okay? The third benefit is that Allah created descendants, okay, in order for this human race, for this creation to remain on the earth, okay? So this is why we have descendants. The fourth benefit is that the semen that is mentioned in the ayah before is only the semen of the man, okay? It's not referring to the semen of the female. The fifth benefit that Sheikh Uthaymeen mentions, okay, the consistency of the liquid that fertilizes the egg, okay. He said this liquid is the perfect consistency. If it had been like water, so more liquidy, then it would not have preserved the human race, okay, it would not have been as strong as it needed to be. And if it had been thicker, then it would have been something that could have even been a danger, okay, because of where it goes. Subhanallah. So this is, he's showing the perfect, the fact that even the creation of the semen is perfect in its form, okay, subhanallah. Another benefit that Shaykh Uthaymeen mentioned is that the person, okay, their body is their shell. They are only alive when they have a ruh, when they have a soul, okay? Another benefit that he mentions is that the soul is something that is physical. It is a physical thing because it is blown into the human being. But it is subtle and it is unseen. Yeah, we don't see when the soul leaves a person's body. If you have ever been beside somebody who is taking their last breath, you don't see the soul leave, okay? So it is something unseen, but it is something that is physical. And the last two benefits, okay, that this ayah is disapproving of those who don't give thanks. Yeah, قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. You'll see this in the Quran. This is disapproving or rebuking those who don't give thanks. And I'll mention the last one that I mentioned before, that hearing, when you are grateful for the hearing and the seeing, it is because it is used for what brings you closer to Allah. And you refrain from what Allah has forbidden. And as for the heart, then it must turn away from everything that is forbidden and accept with the heart everything that Allah commanded. Okay. Now, I know that we are close to time, but the tafsir of the next ayah is very short, so I will do it, inshallah, okay? Any question I will ask at the end, actually. So Allah said in the next ayah, وَقَالُوا, and they said, okay, and they say, أَإِذَا, yeah, is it when this the hamza, okay, is a question, asking a question. إِذَا, when, ضَلَلْنَا, Dalla is to be lost or to be astray, and literally it can mean even to be mixed together. Okay, when the body has decomposed and the dust of a human being is mixed with the dust of the earth, then it is mixed. Okay, so dalalna, and when it is mixed and you can't identify between the two, then they are lost. Please sit down. Okay, we'll go into another room. ضللنا. So when we are lost, fil ardi, in the earth, أئنا, will we, yeah, or will we be, لفي خلق جديد. Islam here is an emphasis. Will we indeed, في خلق جديد, will we be a new creation, an entirely new creation. This is the mushrikeen of Makkah and the generations before that who disbelieved in their messengers. This is what they would say. Yeah, that when bodies are decomposed and they are dust, then, will we be, they are mocking the fact that the Prophet ﷺ is saying that they will be resurrected and they will meet Allah and they will be brought to account. So they are mocking the fact that they will turn to dust and then they will come alive again. أَإِنَّا لَفِي خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. Okay, will we be recreated, or will we be, recreated, or a new creation? بَلْ هُمْ, rather they, بِلِقَاءِ, be in, liqa, the meeting, رَبِّهِمْ, the meeting of their Lord. So rather they, in the meeting of their Lord, kafirun, they disbelieve, okay, or they are disbelievers in the meeting of their Lord. So the bodies have turned to dust and it has mixed together with the dust of the earth. Yeah, when the bodies have scattered and they have disintegrated and they are dispersed in the earth, then this is the point where they are denying the resurrection, okay, because they don't think it is likely that that will happen. And the reason why they do that, or the reason why they think that, is because they only think of it in terms of their own limited ability. Okay, if you compare it to what you yourself can do, then yes, it is unlikely. But when it comes to the one who created you out of nothing, then it is very much a reality. Okay, you were created from dust, and the one who created you, first from dust, is able to bring you back again from this dust. Okay, and this is why this ayah came after mentioning the creation of insan came from clay. Okay, so we were already made from what came from the earth, but that was mentioned first and then this ayah came. Okay, but they would claim that this was far-fetched. Okay, they would compare the power of the creator with their own power, and this is what led them to disbelieve. They didn't know Allah and they didn't know his ability. Okay, but the way that they ask the question doesn't reflect an attitude of where they are seeking the truth. Okay, this is reflecting an attitude of stubbornness and denial and rejection. Okay, this is what Shaykh Uthaymeen, how he explained it. He said they were not seeking the truth. They were just, they were stubborn and they were arrogant and they were rejecting and they were denying. And they had disbelief in the meeting with their Lord. If their aim had been to find out the truth, then the Quran would have been enough of a proof for them. Okay, would have been enough of a proof for them for everything that they rejected. The resurrection, the meeting with Allah, the fact that the Prophet ﷺ was a messenger the fact that this was revelation from Allah. But they rejected all of those things, subhanallah. They knew, or they found out in the previous ayat, that they were created from nothing. Okay, Allah created, He initiated the creation from nothing. Okay, and a proof that they are given again and again in the Quran, we are given, is that when the earth is dead, Allah sends down rain and He revives the earth. Yeah, after the earth is dead and dry and barren, Allah sends down rain and it comes alive again. Subhanallah. But they claimed that this wouldn't happen. Okay, they claimed that it would be a new creation. There can't be such thing as a resurrection. Once we are lost in the earth, then we are gone and done. When more people come, they will be a new creation. This is what they would insist upon. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he said, okay, that the human being, when the human being has decomposed and the only thing that is left is the tailbone, okay, which is so small you wouldn't see it, okay, or only a part of the tailbone, and the human being is then created again, be created like the seed from a tree. The only people who are excluded from being decomposed by the earth are who? Anybody know?
The prophets.
Yes, the prophets, alayhimussalam. Allah forbade the earth from eating the bodies of the prophets. And this is evidence of the power of Allah. Though they are human beings and they had flesh and bones like us, but this dignity was reserved for them, okay? And the earth was forbidden from decomposing their bodies.
What about the shuhada, Sister Farah?
The shuhada, Allahu A'lam, only the prophets are mentioned here. So that's a good question. We can find out, inshallah. Yeah. So they would deny, okay, the meeting with Allah. Why? Because they don't want to be held accountable. Yeah, it goes against their desires. And the meeting with Allah is even more specific than the resurrection. Okay, so they would deny the resurrection because it didn't make sense to them logically. But they also denied the meeting with Allah because they didn't want to be held accountable for what they did and what they said and how they treated people on the earth. From the benefits of this ayah, okay, the first one is it's rebuking those who deny. Yeah, the ayah is rebuking those who deny. The second is that they doubted the power of Allah. Okay, they doubted it. They doubted that Allah could bring somebody back once, you know, their bodies are gone and mixed with the earth and they are lost. Somebody whose ashes are scattered over the depths of the sea, Allah will bring that person back. Somebody who has been completely eaten by an animal, Allah will bring that person back. Subhanallah. Someone who died right at the beginning, when Adam alayhi salam and his people were on the earth, from then Allah will bring back the people and they will come to meet him and they will be held accountable. The third benefit is emphasizes, okay, the power of Allah in his ability to bring back the dead after they have disappeared into the earth. Yeah, subhanallah. We will stop there, inshallah. There was a question from yesterday from Radia, okay? Radia, you were asking if there was a difference in the types of creation that were mentioned, okay? Whether one ayah was specifically talking about what was unseen and another ayah was talking about what was seen. And I had a look, but there isn't anything to say that that is the case, okay? The only thing that was said is that Allah went from very general creation to something very specific that we could relate to. But that was the only thing that I could find on that. Sister, is it Sufyan? I don't know. That's the name that came up. But I will find out about the shuhada, inshallah. Was there anything else that needed clarifying from today or yesterday before we finish?
Sister Zuleika, there was a question. You know, when we talked from yesterday, this is a question from YouTube, the comments. There's a sister asking, you know, when you talked about the Yawm al-Qiyamah having the 2 different lengths of days, and then you mentioned how the scholars have reconciled. They wanted to know whether what reference or what scholar had actually where that came from. Inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. That's a good question, alhamdulillah. This is mentioned in many of the classical tafsir, okay? Shaykh Uthaymeen mentions it in his tafsir, but also Tabari mentioned it in his tafsir, and I double-checked that today, actually. Yeah, Tabari's tafsir, also in, there's another one I checked today. I will have to double-check. I checked Qurtubi today, and I checked another one, and in one of them it was there. But I will just have to double-check the name of which one. Subhanallah. I can't remember the name of the second one because I checked a few today. So I will confirm that, inshallah. So stay tuned and you'll find out, inshallah. Sorry, I can't answer that off the top of my head. Yeah. Okay, alhamdulillah. We will stop there then. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I will see you all tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.